Hello and welcome to arguably one of the most beautiful bike parks on earth. This is Bike Glendo, 15 minutes north of Wanaka, and today it hosts the fourth and final stop of the Crankworx Summer Series. It is dual slalom, the mountain bike equivalent of pistols at dawn, and this is the finale of the Crankworx road trip. Seeing the best riders in the world making their way through New Zealand's south. A couple of shots from behind the scenes there.
We're off.
And we've decided to continue this road trip in Charlie Murray's fun bus. Somehow, a man whose middle name is Adventure, he eats Everest for breakfast, managed to get this 91 bus up the access trail for Bike Glendo, and he's up here at Jack's spot now in this incredible bus, and he joins me now for commentary. What a view, Charlie, from this bus. Good to see you all.
Thanks, Ed. It's awesome to be here. It's pretty amazing to get the bus up here. I never thought that it would be possible, but we're for the dual slalom today, and I'm looking forward to it. It looks exciting.
Yeah, how does the course strike you at the moment? Because it's pretty different, isn't it?
Yeah, so first impression is how fast it is. It's just ridiculous speed down there.
Okay, and you said to me earlier, it's almost like a BMX track downhill.
Yeah, it is. It's, you have that speed of BMX track. It's all man-made features, berms, rollers. There's no grass turns in this one, so it's just, speed and power.
Okay, we'll get back into the course shortly, but this is where we've been so far. We kicked off in Alexandra at the newly opened Matangi station. Then it was Queenstown, pump track and downhill, air downhill at Cardrona, and then we finish up with the dual slalom here at Bike Glendo in Wanaka. Now we've got each of the podiums here from the men. Charlie, what stands out to you from these podiums?
I mean, it's really hard to look past Sam Blinkenstop there on 3 podiums over the last couple of weeks, and he's got first, second, and a third, so he's consistent, but he's won one of the events.
Yeah, he's definitely in the driving seat, and we can confirm now from his results making it into the quarterfinals, he has got the overall title, but the women's much, much closer.
The women's is still, it's an open game here. We've got, Jenna on 3 of those podiums, but also Louise Ferguson winning both of those downhill oriented events.
Yeah, we know Casey Brown hasn't made it through the quarterfinals, but we've got Via Verbeek still in the mix there. It feels like the king and queen of Crankworx, Bas van Steenbergen and Via Verbeek, have both finished their holiday and are here now ready to race. And this is what they're racing for. The prize purse is $1,000 for each of the individual events, but the overall carries out $2,000. It is Crankworx caliber racing, at a grassroots vibe, but there's still plenty of cash up for grabs here at the dual slalom today. And this is your current leader in the overall standings, Louise Ferguson. She has downhill pedigree, that's for sure. Grew up in Fort William, now lives in Queenstown, 2 of the epicenters of downhill racing. But we know we've got Hastings, Verbeek, and Harriet Burbage-Smith still hot on her heels.
Yeah, and overall, it's so tight. And today, we're going to see some pretty close matchups, I think, between those top 4 ladies.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've got a really interesting one. It's Jenna, who is it? It's Via Verbeek going up against
Jenna.
Yeah, that one is a proper.
That's almost a final within the quarterfinal.
100%. Well, look, Casey Brown, she's just dropped out. She got knocked out in the round of 16, but Jenna Hastings through to the round of 8. She's got her eye on a 6th podium, I think it's going to be, isn't it? From the last 7 events, 3 podiums in Rotorua, 3 podiums in the summer series.
Yeah.
We can take a closer look at this track now, though. You can see we had a bit of rain yesterday, which kept it nice and tacky.
The dirt is perfect. I saw the boys out here last minute spray work, gripping the corners that David got them destroyed.
Yeah, Dave McMillan, an absolute weapon, has been a menace in the turns. You've got that straightaway, then a little S, and then a couple of features, and then there's a long straight through the middle there. And you can see 30 meters, the vertical drop. Doesn't sound like much, but...
No, but when you think about how fast people go on a BMX track, and then you put 30 meters of elevation into it, which is, that's 3 10-meter diving boards. That's a lot of elevation.
Well, you said a couple of people have been talking about braking into some of the turns.
Especially the guys on the hardtails, they're having to brake into those final corners just because even though they have vertical banked corners, man-made berms to go around, they're still carrying too much speed.
Okay, yeah, that's something worth thinking about as they come through here. Right, let's take a look at the highlights from the women's round of 16. So we saw Cassie Voicey and Casey Brown. A lot of the safe money was on Casey Brown when this one started up, but the young Australian, she's been doing some damage in the juniors over the last couple of years, and she made her presence felt against one of the biggest names in the game. Voicey will face off against number 1 seed Harriet Burbage-Smith in the quarterfinals.
It looked like Casey was just, maybe it's been a long road trip, or maybe she's on holiday, we don't know. But yeah, good on Cassie for getting through that one.
Jenna Hastings, very, very fast again.
She's so comfortable on the bike here. That's what, she rides like such a mature style.
And we were talking about it earlier. A lot of the factory team managers are going to have rubbernecks watching her performances down here.
She's on top of the shopping list.
Louise Anna Ferguson, the Scot, who's transplanted down to New Zealand, really enjoying her ride, and she's made it into the quarterfinals. So her hopes of the overall title still very much alive, but she will need a very solid performance in this quarterfinal if she wants to make it through and hold on to those hopes of the overall. So that's the bracket at the moment. Number 1 seed Burbage-Smith at the top. Who's your pick for the win?
I think it's going to be someone in that matchup between Verbeek and Jenna Hastings there.
Oh, you see that one as the...
I think someone's going to follow through, to the final in that heat there.
See, I never bet against Buchanan. I think Buchanan's experience pays such heavy dividends in these pressure situations, and this course is doing exactly that. It's adding a lot of pressure.
And the speed, that the speed is adding that element of you've got to have your brace face on, and she's good at that.
Okay, so first matchup in the gate. Let's get the Wanaka dual slalom here at Bike Glendo underway. Harriet Burbage-Smith out of Australia, got a Red Bull helmet this year, going up against Cassie Voicey out of Australia. Voicey, as I said, the up-and-coming Aussie, smashing the junior ranks.
She really was strong in that round against Casey, so let's see what she's got. Harriet threw a lot of power out of the gate there. Look at her fiddling.
Yeah. Burbage-Smith BMX background paying dividends down that first straight, but Cassie Voicey just staying with her.
She might be in touch there, Ed.
Doesn't drop too far back, but there's 2 left-handers, which if you're in the rider's left-hand lane, are very, very tight down on the bottom here.
You can see how explosive Harriet is. She's just, getting those pedal strokes everywhere she can. Look at that. Super quick on the pedals.
Cassie Voicey letting it slide in that turn. It looked beautiful, but it wasn't that fast, I don't think.
You've got to you can't be drifting out because you're just losing speed.
A look back there from Cassie Voicey at her rear wheel. I think she might have spilt some milk in that berm.
Bit of a shroud maybe going on there.
Okay, so Burbage-Smith takes first blood, and it looked like it was at a canter. It wasn't pushing. I was going to say the Australian, but it's an all-Australian matchup. Harriet Burbage-Smith. Yeah, she was coasting through that one, it felt like.
She does look comfortable, and just strong, and that power, those fast twitch fibers are really paying off.
Okay, back up to the top, and it's Jenna Hastings going up against Via Verbeek. These are Jenna Hastings' results from the last few events. She took first, a second, and a third, one of each in Rotorua. Downhill dual slalom second and pump track third. It bodes well for here, doesn't it? Although it was a completely different style of racing in Rotorua.
Yeah, those grass corners in the rain, it was a whole different ballgame.
It's flat tracking.
Yeah, it was. It's drifting.
Okay, well, she's got no shortage of pedigree. I think Ed Masters said it last week. Her results from the last 6 events, any rider would be proud of as career results.
I know.
So,
they're off. Both with good start. She's slightly in front there.
The power that she's got for a 17-year-old, truly phenomenal.
A bit of a break there, but I wouldn't count out Bayer just yet.
Right. Still very much in touch, and the bottom end of this right-hand side of the course tends to be a little bit quicker.
Over the scrub wall.
Poised here and ready.
Oh, she's caught up. They're neck and neck.
Oh! Hastings held on to that one. She couldn't let that one go. Via didn't quite time it right. If she pushed,
I think Via she just got it.
Yep. Oh, she did.
By 10 per second, it looked like she.
I think that distance was way further, a turn or two further back. It could have been really bad. Jenna saw her out the corner of her eye and was able to react before the finish line.
That was exciting. I think, It's going to be...
You called that. You
I don't
called that
know.
one very well, that whoever wins this one could be on their way to the finals.
They could be.
But look at the distance Jenna's got, and Via bides her time. She's so patient.
I wonder if Jenna just started cruising a little bit there on that second half.
Well, she knows she's in a race there, so she makes it pay. And this last turn is so steep if you're on Jenna's side of the course.
Yeah. It's like a vertical wall, and it's so short, you just have to turn in the perfect spot there.
So Jenna Hastings just getting her breath. Via Verbeek taking it all in her stride at the moment, but Via going to be on that, I think, more technical left-hand side of the course, second run.
Back to the top now.
So one of the US's finest, Kehlani Hines, a BMX background going up against Ronya Hill-Wright. But a difficult 2020.
One-run racing is often seen off at Dream Track in Queenstown, but through that, cross over to the full Slalom course in Wanaka.
She's got a lot of work to go.
Kehlani is not waiting around, is she?
Kehlani's got that BMX background. She absolutely loves pump track and dual slalom.
She is the Crankworx.
Oh, yeah. And the results speak for themselves. Oh, a little bit front seat there for Ronya, but she's pulled it back a tiny bit.
I don't know if she's going to be able to make up that difference now, though. Kehlani's just smooth, keeping the wheels on the ground, ripping that last corner, and that's almost max 1.4.
Yeah, max differential is 1.5, so Ron Racing just struggling there a little bit. Decent time from Kehlani Hines, high 35s. Worth keeping an eye on those overall times because it'll give you a glimpse of what we can expect in the semi-finals when the top seeds match up. Be interesting to see if Ronya feels like 1.4, nearly 1.5 seconds is going to be a big ask to make up, but whether she can reduce that deficit noticeably on the right-hand side of the course.
Yeah, I think so. And this is a mistake from Kehlani. I don't think we'll be able to see her come back from that.
Okay, big battle now shaping up in the overall standings. Louise-Anna Ferguson currently leading. Has got to do the unthinkable and take down Caroline Buchanan if she wants to stay in the race. Buchanan up on the back wheel and cranking through this first straight.
Such a big gap.
Power of the Australian is phenomenal. And Louise Ferguson is no slouch on a bike, and yet the power of Buchanan, that incredible BMX background, both
she's so
freestyle and
composed.
racing.
I think maybe your pick was quite valid, Ed.
Well, we're going to see as soon as we've seen that.
She just squared up that corner there, and she's hard on the pedals to get back up to speed. I think Louise is catching up. Not enough, though.
Yep, just shy of 8/10 off the pace. Caroline Buchanan made that look like it was ever so slightly routine, didn't she? She's barely out of breath. Louise over the bars.
I think you're right. Once she gets in that race mindset, she's hard to stop.
Well, as we called her in Rotorua, she is the disruptor. She can come
exactly.
in. She's been focused on FMB. She was at Audi 9. She tried to get to Tokyo 2020 as a BMX freestyler, but yeah, she's back at Crankworx and she's hungry. The power out of the gate.
I guess that comes from the BMX is just, years and years of gate starts. The gate start is pretty key on this course because once you get up to speed, everyone's traveling fast, so it's hard to make up, the deficit.
At the risk of overusing the sideman quote, it's always the same with Caroline. Power is nothing without control, and she definitely has the control. Look at that view. That is Bike Glendo at its finest. We can talk to Louise Ferguson now. How you doing, Louise?
I'm really good. I'm a bit puffed, but really happy.
Did you feel a bit of pressure in the gate there, knowing that this race essentially has the overall standings at stake?
Yeah, I was trying not to think about it too much because it's better when you just focus on what you're doing, but I didn't know till last week that there was an overall, so it's all good regardless.
And Louise, you're enjoying the course here. It looks very fast.
Oh, yeah. Even compared to yesterday, it's so much quicker. And all the girls are ripping. From practice, I was watching a bit, and they're just on fire. It's really good fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Louise. Enjoy your second run. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thanks. Thanks, mate. Cheers. See ya.
Okay, so no shortage of spectators making their way up and down the course. After the first runs in the women's quarterfinals, Burbage Smith has a slight lead over the Australian Cassie Boise. Either beat Jenna Hastings, too close to call between those two. That's going to be a very interesting second run. And then Louise Ferguson with a lot of work to do in that fourth quarterfinal against Caroline Buchanan if she wants to keep her overall Crankworx Summer Series standing. Title hopes alive.
The disruptor is trying her best, isn't she?
Yeah.
To disrupt Louise.
Yeah, I think we're pretty safe. I think there's going to be an interesting semi-final match up there between whoever wins the Verbeek Hastings battle.
Yeah.
Harriet Burbage Smith, very, very quick. But again, Keelani Hines, Caroline Buchanan, that's another battle for heavyweight. Okay, over to the men's side of the draw now, and certainly you've got your pedigree from Beth van Steenbergen and Tohotori Penny, but all eyes on this man right now, the New Zealand downhill legend, Sam Blenkinsop.
Yeah, and everyone will be watching him down there because his style it's one of a kind. He's such a fun guy to watch on the bike.
Well, at the moment, there's the overall standings. You can see Blenky is 84 points ahead of Totoriki Pene. So having made the quarterfinals, that means that he will get enough points. He only needed 16 points minimum to put himself out of touch of Tohoto, and he's done that. So he will be the overall title winner of Crankworx Summer Series. Man who won at King of Crankworx, I think back in way back, wasn't it? 2017 maybe? Yeah, and I think he did it all with his downhill results. We can take a look now though. We'll go back to the Queenstown downhill, and this was a wet day in the Wakatipu Basin.
We're here at the Crankworx downhill at Queenstown Skyline. The riders here are going to be challenged by fun, tech, flow, and we've got a bunch of loam that might get a wee bit wet. I 50-50 the road gap. It's super random on my bars, so I've got to think about that tonight.
An absolute blast.
No fun at all.
Pretty mean. Couple slippery bits.
Stick a foot out and hope for the best, eh?
Yeah, real fun. Mint conditions and sick track. Like, bloody ripper out there. It's gonna be bloody wild come race time, that's for sure.
It's real fun, and that's what we're here for. It's just good fun. Firm conditions right now, with a bit more in the forecast tomorrow, so I'll keep things spicy.
I can see the only just any load of guys. We don't have everything.
Overnight it has rained big time and this track has drastically changed. It's going to be all about the mud.
Okay, so today again we're going to do a little bit about we're going to do the bracket and then we'll go down to 16 highlights. Just walk through. Are you doing it exactly as it is?
Yeah, I put on a good crash for all the crew up there.
That was so fun. It's so funny. You can hear like the crowd. That was the highlight for sure, and just making it down here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. Just
so we're going bracket and then round of 16 highlights. Oh no, otherwise we'll see highlights and then as Thursday's on up and then Blenky will
So,
Oh yeah.
One of the funnest race runs I've had all season for sure. Everyone was up there loving it. It was like, felt like a World Cup. You could hear everyone screaming before you even coming down the track.
I can't describe the feeling. I actually cried at the bottom because it was so good. And they were just lining the tracks and heckling and getting all the hype up, and world class.
Some real emotion there in that downhill. It feels like for Blenky, there's a kind of renaissance happening for him down here for Crankworx Summer Series and Crankworx Rotorua. And Louise Ferguson, those wins have meant the world to her.
I think we saw that when we talked to her before. She just had a tough matchup, but she was still so happy just to be riding a bike, and she's come off those big wins in the last week or two. And yeah, I think she's stoked.
Okay, let's take a look at round of 16 highlights, and we'll kick off with Bas van Steenbergen. I think this one was a masterclass from the king of Crankworx.
Yeah, he's just got so much power out of the gate, and he doesn't slow down. He just keeps getting faster.
Well, he's up against Connor McFarlane here, one of the finest in New Zealand, and Connor is a very good rider, but Bas, mate, he was just lightning down that course.
Yeah, and like we saw yesterday with qualifying, he was way ahead of the rest of the field.
And then Blenky here as well. We saw him riding in a very similar style to Caroline Buchanan almost. It's like you suddenly see a BMX background out of Blenky. He's absolutely lasering this course.
Yeah, well, maybe he keeps on the down low, but I was actually at the BMX track with him a couple weeks ago in Christchurch doing a few gate starts. So, yeah, he's, he comes across casual, but he does do some practice.
Yeah, he knows what he means. Billy Meeklem here in the black top with the white stripes on it. Had to battle very, very hard. It was a solid showing from Dan Butterworth, but Billy Meeklem just squeezed him out in the end. I think the final margin was 0.3 of a second. So, chapeau, Dan Butterworth. He made Billy Meeklem work, one of the smoothest and fastest riders.
It's going to be really cool actually watching Blinky and Billy going head to head because they're both so good to watch.
Yeah, that's going to be a treat for the eyes, isn't it? If you want to know how to ride a bike and make it look good, then you definitely want to watch that matchup. Sam Gale's got his work cut out against Bas van Steenbergen. Then we've got Harris and McMillan. Dave McMillan, one of Canberra's finest, detonating turns here. And then the Blenkinsop Billy Meeklem battle. That one's going to be very, very good fun. And then Toto Riki Pene going up against Dan Booker. Tohodo and Baz, different league, aren't they, Charlie?
I think so. What was it, like 1.5 seconds on a run yesterday? And that's such a big margin on a fast course like this.
Yeah, combined across the two, it's 3 seconds. It's just ludicrous. So here we go. Sam Gale on the right-hand side of your picture. Bas van Steenbergen, king of Crankworx, on the left. Oh, Sam Gale down at exactly the wrong moment. Look how much that's cost him already. 4 bike lengths going into the first turn.
Such a shame because he still had a good power in that first straight, but he was just a few bike lengths behind. Bas is just looking so perfect with that middle section.
Exactly the same style as Tohoto Riki Pene. He's low flying, isn't he? He's keeping that bike close to the dirt.
Yeah, exactly. He's just hovering over those rollers there, you can see.
Cranking wherever he can just to get the power down. I don't want to be premature here, Charlie, but I think Bas van Steenbergen's in the semi-finals.
It's not about that he sings, but with a run like that, Sam Gale, he was riding really well, but Bas is just on another level, like you said.
Just absolutely explodes out.
Look at that corner there. Do you see the spray coming out of that corner?
Phenomenal. He is on a full suspension bike. Be interesting to see how many hardtails we've got left in the mix.
So Sammy was on the hardtail there, and he actually had those slick dirt jump tyres on. And I was talking to him earlier. He says it's pretty hard to get traction, but they roll really quick, so it's a trade-off.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? As you said, they're working down the straights, generating speed, but then difficult to find any traction in the turns. Back up to the top. Now we have Bradley Harris. Won the super downhill in Alexandra at the start of the summer series, going up against Dave McMillan. Watch Dave destroy these turns.
Dave's in a big gear, pretty much neck and neck.
Lovely tight racing, Dave just ahead as they come through the first set of S's.
Yeah, Dave can corner like I'd probably say no one else. But Brad's on the hardtail there is really looking smooth through the rhythm sections.
Oh, Brad Harris.
This is exciting. This is so close.
I think Bradley Harris might just. Oh, neck and neck in here.
There's both Shroud in the corners. Oh, Dave, I think.
Yeah, Dave McMillan.
Just does it.
By
that was
0.5 tenths.
My heart's racing. That was awesome.
So Bradley Harris with a bit of work to do. Very, very close racing. Dave McMillan really generating a lot of speed down that first straight just to get his nose out in front there.
There's a few mistakes from both riders. Like, if you see some of these corners that they didn't quite have the perfect line, a little bit square. Like, I think that one, the second to last one for Brad there, kind of cost him that slight margin.
It looked beautiful with the rooster tail, didn't it?
It did.
If you're skidding, then you're slowing down. So, not exactly what he wanted. Okay, next matchup. We got Sam Blenkinsop going up against Billy Meeklum, two of the finest riders in New Zealand right now. Blenky, the downhill national champion. Billy Meeklum, second in the whip, first in speed and style, second in pump track in Rotorua at the start of November. He is in a solid run of form. Can he take it to Blenky here? Who are you calling?
Oh, I think this is going to be another good one. It's going to be close. Billy has that BMX background as well. And you see it in pump track, he's so solid in pump track. And this is kind of like a pump track sort of course.
I'm going with Blenky.
You're going with Blenky?
Yeah.
All right, well, I got a bit against you then. They're off.
Okay, Sam Blenkinsop enjoying a renaissance this year.
It's tight, Ed.
The power, though, and the speed he's generating. Absolutely punishing the dirt there.
Look at the manual for Blenky through this. It's just awesome.
Billy Meeklum taking it as a personal affront that Blenky's trying to stay in contact with him.
They can see each other.
Nail.
Oh, Blenky's just getting ahead now.
Managed to claw his way out in front. That was a street fight of a race.
They could see each other the whole way down there, and no one wanted to let up.
Yeah, literally trying to one-up each other, turn for turn. In the end, Blenky chucked the kitchen sink in there about 2 turns from the end and was able to generate a little bit of daylight, but power from both riders on the cranks all the way down.
Yeah, one of these last corners was pretty cool to watch. Both of them just pedaling everywhere. It's hard to see that they'll be having any energy left by the final.
Yeah, that's probably, it's going to be on Blenky's mind. Sam, good to see you there. Charlie Murray's in the booth with us right now, and he's a little bit worried that you might be burning your energy for the finals the way you're pounding through that course.
All I'm doing is just trying to get through to the next round. So doing my best, and that's all I can do at the end of the day.
It looks like a pretty fast course, Blinky. Are those corners holding up all right?
Yeah, it's compared to yesterday, because we blew all the turns up yesterday, they're running really well, so it's good. It's probably almost better for a hardtail, but I just wanted to run my gears, and so that's why I went with the trail bike.
Yeah. Have you pumped up your suspension nice and hard on the trail bike and made any modifications, or are you just running it stock?
Nah, she's fully almost rigid. I'd say it's almost it's like a hardtail, but yeah, it's good.
And what about the road trip? You've been on the Crankworx Summer Series from start to finish, Blenky. Who's been your favourite travelling companion?
Probably my family. All of them. They've been trooping. Mum's been working hard.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. You've got second best time of the day. We've just had it confirmed, so it's looking solid.
Keep it up, Blinky. Awesome.
There we go. Sam Blenkinsop making a little bit of headway against Billy Meeklum, but his job far from done, Charlie.
Yeah, I think, he's the family man, but when it comes to racing, he's just taking no business. There's Dahudo against Booker.
And as we said at the beginning, it looks like this should only go one way. Teodoro Ikipene on the right-hand side of your screen is so fast at the moment.
Oh, it's incredible how much speed he can generate on that first straight.
Look at that poise
Look at
and
his
balance
technique.
on the bike.
This is a class of how to ride a dual slalom course.
Well, I would expect to see this in the top 3 times of the day so far, I think.
Yeah.
And
I'd have to agree.
It looks like Teodo's only getting quicker as well.
Oh, that was impressive. And Booker was also flying, but Teodo, he's just, he's looking so comfortable.
I think that's fastest time of the day. I think. Gotta have a good look at it, but yeah, Dan Booker.
He's got his work cut out for him.
Well, he's had really, round of 16, he was breathtaking, he was really quick, but it's just almost impossible. We saw it with Conor McFarlane going up against Bas van Steenbergen. Very good riders are being made to look very ordinary by Teodo and Bas today.
Yeah, I don't know where they found the extra speed, but I mean, we saw Teodo and Rotorua also dominating that chain that he slipped that cost him the win. So it'd be pretty cool to see him get redemption here, wouldn't it?
Okay, so you can see times today there. Teodo gets second best time. I apologise, Bas van Steenbergen.
Now,
sole rider to go sub 32.
Yeah, 3 tenths off Bas there, so not too much.
Interestingly, we have seen Bas struggling against Teodo though. It's like Teodo's calmness is able to cast some kind of spell on Bas van Steenbergen when they're under pressure. So first runs of men's and women's are done, and we'll drop back into the women's very shortly and see who's going to take out their spots in the semi-finals. Whew, time to take a breath, Charlie. That was some intense racing.
Oh man, my heart's going for it. That was awesome. It's really cool to see those tight races, and Dave McMillan and Billy. That was awesome.
Okay, predictions. You sticking by your Via Verbeek, Jenna Hastings matchup? You think one of those two is going to make it to the semis and then finals?
Yeah, I'm going to have to stick with that, I think. What do you think? You got the Caroline?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Caroline Buchanan.
Yeah.
I think
she was looking really strong in that round.
Yeah, the experience and the power on this kind of course. You said it best at the start. It's a BMX-style course. And you take those riders, I think it's going to be very difficult. Killarney's going to be strong, but those two it's going to be Killarney or Caroline meet up. So,
yeah, no, I think Caroline's BMX background is going to really pay off because we've got no grass turns here. We just have man-made features.
How much of the road trip have you been following?
Yeah, trying to follow most of it.
Have you been a part of it?
No, unfortunately not. I've been off kayaking. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I'm part of it now, and it's pretty awesome. It makes me jealous to miss out on what we've had up here.
Well, that was the air downhill, but it feels like there's been a really relaxed vibe amongst the riders, actually getting a bit of time down here where, yes, there's competition, but there's a good amount of space in between to actually go out and enjoy themselves.
Exactly. I was chatting to Blinky yesterday, and he has just been on holiday with his family and loving it. They've been off, bungee jumping and going up waterfalls, zip lines and different things. There's so many activities to get around down here. And Blinky is dove into them with his family, and he's on holiday while still doing his job, so he's a happy man.
Yeah, you saw everyone getting stuck into AJ Hackett bungee there. It's one of those things, it's almost like a compulsory exercise. If you come to the South Island of New Zealand, you've got to go and do AJ Hackett. Okay, Cassie Voicey, Harriet Burbage-Smith, second rounds of the quarterfinals. They are on opposite sides of the course. Burbage-Smith with a decent differential, maximum differential actually, 1.5 seconds on the Australian. And they're out, and Burbage-Smith away cleanly and out in front again.
She's got a really good gate start. It just accelerates down that straight. Guess she's got to work to make that now.
Yeah, at the moment you've got to say, Burbage-Smith, that BMX background paying dividends for her. She looks so confident at this stage.
It's almost like she's relaxing now, do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
She does just have to make it through clean because she's already got an advantage from the first round.
Yeah. She had a quick glimpse back.
And there she goes.
So over 2.5 seconds on Cassie Voicey. Harriet Burbage-Smith is the first woman to book her spot in the semi-finals.
So she's probably going to be going against Gina or Vivek.
Yeah. Yeah, she knows.
So, you know, the next round for her is really, it's quite key.
I often wonder, like, yes, Cassie made her work on the opening straight there, but a bit of pressure all the way down the course can actually do you some good.
That could add a second or two, I'd say.
Yeah, well, it gets you in that mindset. Having coasted, she's now going to come up against one or other of two of the best riders in the draw at the moment. And she's going to have to blast it, but she's got the game face on there.
Yeah, whether or not she comes out firing or just takes, you know, half a run to kind of get back into that head-to-head aggressive mindset, we'll see.
Okay, so Via Verbeek. Can hear from her very quickly now before we get into the race.
I mean, it's always for fun, but right now it's really just more like I'm just there riding party trains with everyone. So no, I'm definitely not super competitive, or I don't feel competitive in this series. And I truly believe that the locals will shine, and I'm stoked to see that. So yeah, I mean, I'm here to play, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, she says she was here to play, but she was taking out the air downhill with Bass.
She wasn't hanging around. Yeah, like they the holiday had ended, like you said, and they were back to work.
So 14 hundredths of a second between Via Verbeek and Jenna Hastings. Jenna Hastings with it all to do if she wants another podium.
She's ahead. She's just ahead. We saw her ahead in the last round on that first straight too.
Yeah. Via biding her time, made her experience pay at the bottom of the course. You can hear the fans cheering Jenna Hastings on though.
Can she hold on to this slim lead that she's extended?
Via Verbeek so smooth. Her consistency, her all-round ability is what paid in the Queen of Crankworx title, and now she strikes. Jenna Hastings just carrying the speed. It's going to be enough. Definitely enough.
She goes
4/10
through.
of a second, so Jenna Hastings takes out Via Verbeek in the quarterfinals.
Oh, she came from behind after that first round. That was impressive from Jenna. I think she realized that she couldn't, you know, coast or relax at all.
So another big smile. We're getting used to seeing that from the 17-year-old from Rotorua. She's graced a few podiums over the last month, and it looks like she's well on her way to yet another one, taking out one of the biggest names in the game, and Via Verbeek made her work, Charlie.
Yeah, especially after that first round, I think Jenna would have been, you know, a little bit worried that she might not be able to compete with that, but yeah, she didn't give up.
Really crisp through that final rhythm section there.
And also the different courses coming into play. Both riders were slower on that left-hand course.
Okay, now Rodney Hill right on the left-hand side of your picture. Keilani Hines on the right. Keilani Hines so fast.
As you see, she's got about a 1.5 second advantage after that first run. So, you know, if Keilani just has to make it through this one clean, and she's secured that spot into the semis.
So Keilani first in dual in Rotorua, second in pump track. She's second in the race for Queen, just behind Via as well. 1.446 seconds. Big ask for Rodney Hill right. The consistency of Keilani. She is very strong in these disciplines. Take a look at her results now.
We did see her in Rotorua just, you know, putting on a masterclass as well.
Well, you look at that, the last two dual slaloms, it's first place. She's kind of got that second, fourth, second, fifth, third, but first, she's really, I feel like pump track started out as her pièce de résistance, but now it's like dual slalom or pump.
Yeah.
She's a real threat.
Well, she's obviously, you know, she's got those mountain bike skills as well. So, yeah, and that's what you need for the dual slalom, usually with those grass corners.
Yeah.
But here, it's actually might be even more to her advantage with the, you know, the BMX style track that we're seeing.
Those short height berms that are almost vertical. Got to snap the bike around in here.
They're off. Perfect start from Keilani.
On the back wheel, straight out of the start gate. And already there's a couple of bike lengths.
So Ronya's now on the faster side, or what I would say would be the faster side. So you know, what will the difference be compared to what we saw in the first run?
There's definitely been some emerging.
So, Kilani cranking ahead there. The crowd getting behind Ronya, but not going to be enough. Kilani Hines coasting now. She's taking a look back. She knows that she's got...
It's comfortable through there, and
yeah,
that's her securing that spot.
So you can tell, I think Kilani had a 35.3 or 35.5 on her first run. She dropped 0.6 of a second, just coasting down that. So didn't want to push. Ronya Hill-Wright, very, very impressive rider. Only started riding really in her 20s, didn't she? So 30 years old now.
She's really impressed me with how she'll just won't say anything and she'll just go ahead and hit these massive jumps, you know, with all the boys and the dream track and really paving the way for these girls. Cool. I don't know if she's done much, you know, BMX and pump, but she gives everything a go, and that's, you know, to her credit.
Yeah. So we got Via Verbeek now. Via, how you doing?
Good, I'm great. Life is lovely right now. It's sunny, it's warm.
Do you want to stick around with us and do a bit of commentary? If you've got a screen there that you can watch?
I would love to. Yeah, I have a screen right here, so let's get this race rolling.
Okay, Caroline Buchanan, we've got her down potentially as, I've got her down as my favourite for the day. I mean, she's just got so much power on this course, doesn't she? So Caroline, Louise Ferguson shaping up. Over nearly 0.8 of a second for Buchanan. Cranking out of the start gate, looking so powerful down this opening straight.
Every time it really surprises me how good her gate start is. But I guess, you know, she's been in the BMX game for so long that it's not surprising. But it just accelerates down those wooden sections here.
Is there a difference between the two courses here? Is there a noticeable? It looks like the left-hand side of the course is more technical and maybe a touch slower at the bottom.
Yeah, the left-hand side definitely has some tighter corners, so you definitely want to make a good differential on the right-hand side.
And Caroline proving her power there. What have you made about Jenna Hastings during the last sort of month or so? You watched her race in Rotorua, obviously. Have you come across her before, Crankworx in Rotorua?
Oh, Jenna, definitely, yeah. I've been meeting up with their family up in Rotorua. They're definitely like family. I love her so much. It's really fun that we get to do matchups together. I think we're a good sport and we're pushing each other. And she's so young, like, I definitely have to watch my back because she's coming for the title.
Okay, who are you going to pick for the win today?
Today there would be Haz and then Caro and Jenna. I would love to see Jenna take off Haz there. I love Haz, but Jenna is just definitely the one standing out this year for me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Via.
Hey, you bet. Thanks, guys.
Okay, let's take a look at the bracket now after the second run in the women's. So we know that Harriet Burbage-Smith will go into the semi-final against Jenna Hastings, who bested Via Verbeek there. Kilani Hines making short work of Ronya Hill-Wright, and Caroline Buchanan knocking out Louise Ferguson. Ferguson, the Scot, looking very well. She came in the lead in the overall standings, but unfortunately not making it through to the semis. With Jenna making it through, it looks like she'll have had to wave goodbye to that dream.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, that Hines and Buchanan matchup there is going to be really interesting because they both they coasted some of that second half of the course. So when they put full power down for the 100% of the course, I think it's going to be quite impressive.
There's four riders there who can win.
Yeah, dead right. Yeah, absolutely.
This is going to come down to the finest of margins, and definitely, I think Hines and Hastings still in the mix very much for the overall title. Let's go back and take a look at the men's bracket now. So on this one, we're just coming into second runs of quarterfinals. Bas van Steenbergen, absolutely out of control. I mean, he's in the distance. You can put his name down in the semi-finals. Much tight between Dave McMillan and Bradley Harris. And then Billy Meeklem and Sam Blenkinsop. That one, we heard Via confirm that the left-hand side of the course at the end there is a little slower and more technical. So,
yeah, true. That could come into play, I think. Yeah, they were pretty much, that was an exciting race. That was neck and neck. So I'm excited to see how that one plays out.
Yeah, and then Tohoro Rikipene going up against Dan Booker at the bottom of that bracket.
Tohoro, so comfortable. It's hard to count him out, isn't it?
Yeah, very close between all of those riders. I think the hundredths of a second that we're looking at between Bas and Tohoto is basically, it's inconsequential when you put those riders neck to neck.
Yeah, it just depends who's got the perfect mindset for that finals run.
Okay, so there you go. Got a first, a second, and a fifth at his last 3 dual slaloms.
So he's on good form at the moment with the first and the second this year.
Oh, he's just a machine, isn't he? So going up against Sam Gale.
But like you said, they're back to work. They've finished their holiday and they're not hanging around.
Yeah. Oh, Sam Gale. He didn't slip a pedal again, did he?
I just missed it. He struggled out of the gate there. I can hear the spectators gutted for him. So
yeah, it'd
be interesting to see what happened there.
There's a bit of heckling by the sounds of it. Baz bouncing his way through this one. He's not going to waste his energy. Might think about putting the hammer down.
Big whip from Sammy over there.
Sam Gale winning the whip off. So a little bit of a non-event there. Sam Gale making a mistake up at the start. We'll check out the replays for that one.
It does look like a fun track to ride when they just cruise down like that, don't you think?
I know, but I've tried riding it like that.
Does it look like that when you ride
it? I'm doing it like that.
Yeah, they make it look pretty easy, especially Bas there.
I make extremely hard work of this. It's almost excruciating.
But you still have a smile at the bottom. That's what counts.
No, I'm almost apologetic. I want to apologise to people who are watching as I'm riding. It's that disgraceful.
Here we go, Dave and Bradley.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one.
This was such a good first round.
Okay, so Bradley Harris on the slightly slower side of the course, potentially.
He's on that hardtail, and then Dave is on that specialised stump jumper, the full suspension trail bike. So I think Dave will hold better speed to those bottom corners, but Brad can really pump down those straights if he gets it right.
I heard that Dave McMillan's carrying 4 pounds of C4 explosive ready to blow up the corners.
Pretty much. Yeah, he runs tubes because otherwise he rips the tyre off of them.
Yeah, double thickness tubes. Oh, Bradley Harris means business way out in front after the straight. Dave McMillan's got his work to do. Look at him. Dave McMillan with the hammer down has caught that distance up.
Just! I think that's Dave.
Oh!
That's it, yeah, it is.
That is, he took the win. He'd already got a bit of distance from the first run. So let's see what that is with a combined time over both runs. Bradley Harris making Dave McMillan work there. But so 3/10 in all.
Like we said in Rotorua, Ed, when you come from behind, sometimes it's a carrot to chase. And maybe Dave had that.
I definitely did.
Brad had a gap there.
Very strong gap. After the end of this first straight, down here, yeah, it was a couple of bike lengths.
It was that hardtail was carrying so much speed down those straights.
But then, as you called it right from the start. As soon as you get into those tight turns at the bottom, the full sus pays.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that was one of the most exciting matches we've seen so far, don't you think?
100%. And this one promises to be more of the same. Sam Blenkinsop going up against Billy Meeklem. Blenkinsop.
He's taken off the GoPro.
Oh,
he's obviously got a few shots and he's getting serious.
No unicorn. Take a look at his results. 2018 King of Crankworx. And he did that only in downhill races. So pump track dual slalom, new to him in 2021, but got that 3rd in the Super D, 4th in the pump track, and 1st in the downhill. It's a show of just how versatile his riding is these days.
It's amazing. I was talking to him yesterday, and he actually wants to do more Crankworx events. He's going to try and, mix it in with his downhill and his enduro.
Yes,
So
Blanky.
I'm pretty happy to see that over the next couple of years.
But why wouldn't you? It looks like he's really enjoying his riding at the moment.
Yeah, he's just having fun, and he's just like a fine wine, and he gets better with age.
Phew. Here we go, neck and neck between Meeklum on the rider's right and Sam Blenkinsop on the left.
Oh, it's so close.
Meeklum just out in front now, and he's going to get the run of the turns at the bottom of the course here. But Blanky back on the inside of that turn.
Almost caught up to him.
Billy Meeklum will be able to feel him breathing down his neck. Wheel to wheel as they come into the last turn.
Oh!
Between them, absolutely nothing.
Blinky gets it.
Hundredths of a second. Billy Meeklum with the 180
Oh!
Wow, Blenkinsop just takes it.
That was almost too close to call. We had the photo finish.
Fantastic racing. Two absolutely vintage battles there between Billy Meeklum and Sam Blenkinsop. Big smiles
That was
from the two
incredible.
Kiwis.
Don't you think it's the same thing? Blinky just was a little bit off the pace, and he had that carrot. And same again, the last couple of corners, he comes back.
He did a huge amount of work in the last third of the course there.
Yeah.
Because he was right off the pace here.
It was from that corner, he carried good speed through there, and then these last two, he just lent it in and didn't touch the brakes. Oh, it was impressive.
Oh, majestic performance.
A tough one for Billy because he was, it looked like he was going to have that.
Round of applause for Blanky there. Really, really enjoyed that one. Yeah, Billy Meeklum, one of the few times we've seen him on the losing end of a head-to-head matchup.
Yeah.
I think he was 4th at Pump last week. He got 1st in speed and style, 2nd in duel in Rotorua. So
Back to the top now. Here's Tehudo against Dan Booker. So Tehudo's on that right-hand side now.
yeah, we can take a look at his finals run in Rotorua. This was a completely different kind of race, I think it's fair to say,
Yeah.
Charlie.
Both were exciting, but this was pretty crazy with the rainstorms coming in.
Look at that.
Brooke
Brooke McDonald out of the front door on that first
the
turn.
front.
Thought it was all over. And then Brooke cased that one really badly in the second run. So Tehudo's away and running. And then this was just a horrific sheet ice corner.
Right there, he lost his chain.
Yeah.
And Brooke just coasts away from him. Well, pedals away from him, I should say.
Yeah, that derailleur wrapped around the rear axle.
So it's a shame that Tehudo had that in the second run because the max differential only occurs in the first run to make sure that second run is just as exciting. So Brooke's crash only lost him 1.5, whereas, Tehudo's chain cost him the race.
Okay, Dan Booker, Tehudo Ariki-Penny. Dan Booker, no slouch, but Tehudo is so fast on this course today. Quite literally like watching a thunderstorm striking lightning down by Glendo's dual slalom course. He is so fast here.
He just pumps with such small, strong movements.
Yeah, it's so crisp, so clean, isn't it?
You watch his body, it stays perfectly still, and his handlebars just move up and down slightly.
Perfect.
But he's cruising now.
Grew up racing BMX, so he's very at home on this course.
These guys like Tehudo are so dangerous because they have that BMX background, but then, he's one of the best downhills in the world.
Yeah. He's learned how to ride the big bike.
He can ride the mountain bike with the grippy tires and the suspension. So when you give him something that's a mix of both, it's no surprise that he's absolutely killing it.
Absolutely loves it. Yeah, he eats courses like this for breakfast. And you can see Booker working so hard. Kid out of Tasmania. Yeah, he just can't make it pay. There's nothing he can do here to match the bike speed of Tehudo.
Booker's been on a good run the last couple of weeks, or the last few months since we saw him in Rotorua.
So confirmation of the semi-finals. Bas van Steenbergen will go up against the Australian Dave McMillan. And Sam Blenkinsop going up against Tehudo Ariki-Penny. Predictions?
Well, it's pretty cool to see, Tehudo and Blinky against each other again, like we saw in Rotorua. The master and the apprentice are back. So I'm really looking forward to that one. But, watching Dave, and we've seen Bas, Bas is on another level. So yeah, we're going to see Bas go into that final, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I feel like it's Tehudo and Bas in the final. They've got so much bike speed at the moment. They're quite literally in a different class. So That is the second run done. We'll be back in a second with the semi-finals of both the women's and the men's. But before we go there, we're going to take a look back at one of the other events in the Crankworx Summer Series. It went down on Thursday. It is the air downhill at Cardrona, and this was an absolute classic.
Kia ora and welcome to Cardrona Alpine Resort. Today we have the Air DH. This trail has been uniquely made and it is a complete work of art. The top section is very, very technical, but no matter what the result is, by the end of the day these guys are going to have a massive smile on their face.
Things are about to get rough. You can't shrug and pass the buck. You've been waiting around long enough. The moment is here and you better stand up.
Dude, everything's pretty gnarly, eh? I was not ready for that. And every single lap was blind. Yeah. I'm into it.
This is the subject some try to avoid. Man, they don't want to hear it and they get annoyed. Cause that type of bird sitting on the fence and they won't say a word with confidence. You better learn to formulate an opinion or else you just take what you're given. And that's when you're lost. Like a yes man, you've been trained and brainwashed.
So far so good, pretty rowdy first couple of runs. Straight into a first drop and massive hits, so wakes you up right away.
I've just been laughing at non-stop because I've had so much fun. Definitely more of a fun track. Go a bit slower and pop, but racing will be definitely interesting.
The moment is here and you better stand up. It's time. You better stand up. I said it's time. You better stand up. It's time. You better stand up. It's time. You better stand up. You better stand up or you die on your knees. Beat down by the ones that you tried to appease. They can only take advantage if it's what you allow. So you're gonna need to fight and you better start now. I said stand up or die on your knees. Beat down by the ones that you try to appease. They only take advantage if it's what you allow. So you're gonna need to fight and you better start now. You better stand up. It's time. You better stand up.
I've been here a bunch of times, so I knew how good it was going to be, so I was definitely looking forward to it, and it doesn't really get much better than this.
In comparison to your Whistlers and those A-line Dirt Merchant, I think this really is on par, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it's quite a bit more technical, especially at the top. It's pretty rare that you have to look at the features before you can just jump them, making it a little bit more spicy, which is so fun once you got it all dialed. It's so much more rewarding.
Wow. Cardrona delivering again. That course is something to behold, isn't it, Charlie?
Well, when you hear Caroline comparing it to Dirt Merchant and A-Line and Whistler, those are the benchmark, the premier of jump trails. So it's as good as it gets, really.
And it takes you from that kind of rocky alpine stuff down into the tussock, doesn't it? You get a bit of everything in terms of rock and dirt.
Yeah, it is. And they've got those, ladder drops and on-off features. It's just a beautiful trail up there. And I think everyone, regardless of the racing, they just love being up there and riding it.
Okay, well, by Glendo turning on the Ritz today, some of the most spectacular views you'll find anywhere in mountain biking. If you're planning on getting out on your bike, though, head over to the Crankworx website. You'll find all of the schedules. You might even find the release of the 2022 calendar very shortly. But up on the top there, right-hand side there, you'll find the shop tab, and then once in there, you'll find some epic merch. Whether you're chilling out or whether you plan on going riding, you can check that one out. Right now, though, it's time for women's semi-finals. Harriet Burbage-Smith goes up against Jenna Hastings, and then we've got a battle of the pump track legends. Kilani Hines going up against Caroline Buchanan on the other side of that semi-final. Charlie, you've put your money behind Jenna Hastings. I've got mine on Caroline Buchanan. It could be a match-up in the finals, potentially.
I hope so, to keep it interesting, but it's really hard to look past any of these girls because we've got such a strong international field here at the moment.
Oh, and you get the feeling Jenna Hastings' performances are really starting to push a few. Well, Harriet Burbage-Smith as well, she's really come through in the last kind of 18 months.
Yeah.
Her results have started stepping up as well. But Jenna Hastings riding the crest of a wave.
They're off.
Second fastest time of the day, second and third fastest time of the day belongs to Jenna Hastings.
Very good start there.
Not far behind, neck and neck now. If Hastings can make it pay on the left-hand side of the course, this could be a very interesting second run.
You're right. All she needs to do is to be even. If she can be even on that left-hand side, we have an advantage for that next run.
Just 17 years old, Jenna Hastings.
She's got so much power.
Well, it's a sport that you usually start to peak kind of early 20s through to mid to late 20s. To be this good.
Oh, Harriet just gets it there.
At this age, it's a huge, huge feather in her cap. So 94 hundredths behind for Jenna Hastings, and I think she'll be looking at that, especially on the strength of what Via Verbeek said after their last matchup in the quarterfinals. I think Jenna will be pretty confident that she can make that work on the right-hand side.
I think so. It's going to be close, though. They're actually cat and mouse a little bit. Jenna had a slight advantage on this first straight, but then on that lower section, I think the black side or the left side loses a bit of speed.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen that? The left-hand side of the course lead,
over and over.
Yeah, and then just get overhauled in these last three turns.
I mean, the course does turn slightly to the left the whole way down. It ends up pointing more left than it starts.
Right. Left. Right.
Left. So it's tighter on that left-hand side.
Okay, Kilani Hines. She's not quite. Actually, that pressure isn't quite as high as I thought it would be.
Yeah, but still, I mean, coming up from like a normal trail pressure of 22 or 23 to 28, you'd feel quite a difference there. And she's probably quite light. And then she's got the dissector on the back, so that's a fast rolling tyre.
Yeah, she'll get that bike speed, keeping the grip and traction on the front.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready.
Buchanan closest to the camera. As I think the fastest time of the day so far.
Caroline just fire down that first straight.
Now, can she hold on to it though? Kilani Hines with the bit between her teeth now and a target on Buchanan's back as they come onto the straight.
She's gaining on her.
So Buchanan answers with a solid run down that straight. But now...
Oh, Kilani's coming back, I'd say.
Yes, she is! Oh, this
just nudging in front.
Buchanan's got to make this last turn fast.
Hines.
Very, very impressive ride from Kilani Hines. She gets 2-1-2 ahead. So very, very tight between the American and the Australian. And now we see Buchanan out of breath. She looked like she was coasting in the quarters.
But Hines was on that quicker side of the track as well. So it's going to be really exciting, this next matchup between those two.
Yeah, to see this start to level up. Don't forget, we're going to have Dave McMillan through the course before then, and he could blow up a few more of these. But just to put that in context, a few of the hardtail riders have been having a go at Dave McMillan. They feel like he might have deformed some of the turns, the amount of pressure he's putting through them.
There's a bit of a rivalry out there. Hardtails versus trail bike. And because we don't have the grass corners, the hardtail is, we heard Blinky say that before, the hardtail is probably looking quicker today. But it's always
the case. Well, certainly Buchanan on the hardtail, Hines on the full sus.
Yeah.
So back up to the top, and we're straight onto the men's side of the draw.
There he is, the corner destroyer himself.
Yeah. Bas van Steenbergen going up against Dave McMillan.
The EDH winner, he's got that hunger back. He might have taken a bit of holiday, but he's not on holiday now.
So number 4 seed, Dave McMillan. He's not far off the pace here. Can he push Van Steenbergen? If this was tennis, Bas van Steenbergen would have a devastating serve. His start is so strong. You just can't get close to him. McMillan fighting hard here to try and stay in contact with the Dutch Canadian. Little tap down manual there, but Bas van Steenbergen,
he's looking strong, eh?
Oh, he's left McMillan for dust here. Quite literally, nothing Dave can do.
There's quite a big deficit there. But I'm not surprised because your Bass is just almost unstoppable.
Well, we did talk about it, and it sounds silly, doesn't it? But they were over a second and a half into the rest of the field to Hoto and Bass.
Yeah.
And he's done that 1.1 seconds over the number 4 seed. That's spectacular. That you really have to sit back and admire just how fast Bass van Steenbergen's going here.
And you know what's scary? He could probably go faster because he doesn't have that carrot to chase. If he's head to head with, say, like Hoto, who knows what the time will do. I'd say he's probably relaxing on that second half.
It's getting harder and harder to look past Baz in terms of predictions. It's like he's found his mojo again after that air downhill on Thursday.
Well, he's riding on a wave of confidence, isn't he? So it's got to be helpful.
I think after all the stress and pressure, he needed a release valve. After the King of Crankworx type was decided in Rotorua, he's like, okay, I can relax a bit here. Times today, 2 fastest times belong to Bass. 31.772 and 31.89.
And Tahuto's still just in the 32s, isn't he?
Yeah, Tahuto just back there on the edge of 32, as is
and then Blinky nipping at his heels.
Look at the boys. They're doing their sponsor shout-outs there. Straighten up the jersey. Who's got the most names? Okay, other side of the semi-finals. It's an all-New Zealand affair. Sam Blenkinsop goes up against Tahuto Arikipene.
The master versus the apprentice. I love watching these two.
Very quick from Tahuto in the white helmet. On the right-hand side of your picture. Very quick. And we talk about it again and again, that super crisp technique from Tahuto. But Blenky's the same.
Tahuto's just so precise. He's used to the BMX is the small wheels. You have to be so precise, and it's probably that's what's carrying over here.
Blenky looking very smooth and fast. Little offline there from the downhill up. Yeah, the BMX background paying off.
Oh, it's so close. Tahuto just
taking
gets that
it out
advantage.
on the left-hand side of the course. That is big news.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the upper hand for Tahuto now.
Actually, a bit of breathing room there, isn't it?
Most definitely. But you cannot write off Blenky. He's got way too much experience and way too much power.
Yeah, and he's fun to watch, so everyone wants to see him in the finals. He's got a few supporters cheering his name down there.
I think you're right as well. It's a long course, 411 meters long, but it's definitely, and it's fast, but it's a test of the endurance as well. Everyone's elbows down afterwards and out of breath.
Yeah. Well, you probably forget to breathe. You're just pedaling. It's a flat out sprint, but with every muscle in your body because you're trying to control the bike through those corners. You're probably pulling a few G's through those corners, I'd say.
So, fastest time of the day. Look at that, both of those boys. 31.394 for Tahuto, 31.563 for Sam Blenkinsop.
That's incredible. So they are pushing each other faster.
Wow, that's what we want to see. So Tahuto and Blenky have found another gear in the first of these semi-final runs. Be fascinating to see where they go in the second one. And is it to Bass's detriment that he's only got Dave McMillan? Would he have been better served by someone very, very strong?
Yes, but he might be saving more energy.
True.
But I mean, I thought we saw Blinky putting everything on the line against Billy, but now he's found another gear. But so it's incredible.
Okay, Jenna Hastings in the gate now, going up against Harriet Burbage-Smith. Let's hear a little bit more about her mindset.
My mindset for Crankworx Whistler in the summer series has just kind of been to make the most of the opportunity, because not too many people my age, I guess, would have the opportunity to do this. So just having fun, making the most of it, being grateful, really.
She is not just a brilliant mountain bike, she seems like a really lovely person too.
Down to earth.
Yeah, but there's 17-year-olds I wouldn't trust with my laundry, and she seems more mature than most 35-year-olds I know.
Yeah, on and off the bike as well.
Taking it all in her stride. Harriet Burbage-Smith with a very strong start though. She's not going to let Jenna Hastings have this one.
There's no 3 seconds on this course at all.
So Hastings will think that she's got a little more space down at the bottom of this course. But Harriet Burbage-Smith might have other ideas.
Jenna's looking composed, but it's going back and forth a little bit here.
So neck and neck, deceptive though. Now they've got an even amount of turns left. Oh, very, very close. Harriet Burbage-Smith, I think that's 68 hundredths of a second ahead, but I think this is going to be very close. Oh, Harriet Burbage-Smith is taking it. Jenna Hastings is out. Very, very close there. Apologies, Charlie, but your prediction will not come true.
All right. That's very interesting.
What is interesting, though, we do know with a guaranteed 4th place or better, Jenna Hastings will take out the Crankworx overall summer series. So Harriet Burbage-Smith gets the better of her here, but she gets the consolation prize of the overall. This was so close. Harriet Burbage-Smith looking very, very strong and making the end of this course pay.
Oh, it was so hard to call that one.
Jenna, commiserations there. You didn't manage to get the better of Harriet at the end, but congratulations, because I don't know if you know, but it is now confirmed you've taken out the overall in the Crankworx Summer Series New Zealand.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Harriet gave me a run for my money there, and props to her for getting it.
It looked like the left-hand side of the course is a tiny bit slower at the bottom there, but Harriet really pushed through that.
Yeah, she did. There's one corner on the left-hand side, which is pretty tight, so that I think slows it down a little bit. But yeah, she pushed through.
And what does it mean to you to get the overall title down here? You've had a phenomenally consistent performance across all the events.
I honestly haven't really thought about the overall. I didn't even know there was one until like the 2nd or 3rd race. So just trying to have fun down here, mixing it with these big girls, and I guess it's paid off.
What do you think the biggest thing you've learned over the last month between Rotorua and the Summer Series is?
It's not all about winning. Yeah, just here to have a good time, and that's mainly what I've learned, yeah.
It certainly looks like you've done that. Thank you so much, Jenna, for the entertaining rides in Rotorua and through the Summer Series.
Thank you.
Well done.
There's a big yee-hoo down the bottom there. Impressive performances from her, Charlie.
Yeah, that's really cool to see her taking the overall. And she's quite humble. She didn't even really realise it was all going on. She's just living in the moment. And I think that's probably why she does so well. She just, focuses on what's ahead.
It's definitely working for her. Caroline Buchanan, high roller 2s, front and rear. But look at that. Compared to Kilani, who was 28s and 27s, Caroline's cranked it right up 35 PSI. So
there'll be no give in those tyres at all.
Well, she's gone for more grip in the tread, but higher PSI. Interesting.
Yeah, I think those downhill tyres are pretty good for the corners. We're trying to hold those lines and not slide, because if you slide, you're losing a lot of speed.
Yeah.
But it's the rolling speed on the straight, so it's just a big, you're weighing it up.
Yeah, once you those downhill tyres, you can roll those outside treads though sometimes. But she might be looking at vertical berms and thinking, I'm not on the edge of the tread that much.
You're in the middle, yeah.
Sorry, banging on about tyre treads when the race is underway. Buchanan out in front down the first straight. She's looking very, very smooth as they come onto the straightaway.
Kalani's got, she's got something to chase though, so I think.
When she was able to do it in the first of the races, but she's got this tighter turn. Jenna Hastings confirmed it for us. Vias confirmed it for us. Definitely a tighter turn down here. Caroline Buchanan not taking.
No, she's definitely got that advantage there.
Yeah. That's it. When she's under the pump, the moment you put pressure on Caroline Buchanan, she responds.
She just takes it up another level.
Yeah.
Rises to the pressure.
Done that convincingly here.
Well, maybe your prediction is it's looking pretty good at the moment.
I'm feeling a little bit like a pundit at the moment, Charlie. Very, very impressive riding from Caroline Buchanan. She gives us the heart.
So she's going to be up against Harriet.
Oh, that's going to be very, very tight. We'll take a look at those fastest times today as well. and see how they match up between Harriet Burbage-Smith and Caroline Buchanan. Because that's the real teller.
It's even speed tucking after that scrub wall there. Well, not scrub wall, it's more of a roller, but it's just, yeah.
Yeah, whether it's freestyle orientated riding or racing, I feel like Buchanan's just got such a deep bag of tricks she can reach into to either like perform if it's freestyle or just to find an extra couple of seconds if it's racing.
Well, she's got the experience, so you can pull on that when it really counts.
Okay, so there is confirmation of the bracket. Bronze medal will be decided between Kilani Hines and Jenna Hastings. It's going to be another podium for the Crankworx Summer Series overall champion Jenna Hastings. Gold and silver will be decided between Harriet Burbage-Smith, number 1 seed, and Caroline Buchanan, number 2 seed. Back now, though, to the men's. And I don't know if you can't have ignored it. You must have seen the incredible views we have here at Glendo. I bought a Finnish photographer up here once, and he was almost emotionless. And I said to him, getting much in the way of photos? And he wouldn't give me anything. And then I said, getting some good stuff? And he said, getting good photos in New Zealand is like fishing with dynamite. There you go.
No, it's a pretty special part of the world down here, and I think these international riders, they're just happy to have the chance to come and race down here. Check out these new spots.
It is an incredible view off the start line here, and we have Bas van Steenbergen and Dave McMillan in it now.
Dave's got a lot of work to do.
1.1 seconds ahead as they blast out of the gate.
He's unbelievable out of that gate down the first straight there.
And he's got you said he could be just biding his time, but we've seen some very, very fast times on the other side of the draw. Dave McMillan giving it absolutely everything behind Bas van Steenbergen, and it's seemingly doing nothing. It's like Van Steenbergen's got a force field around him, coasting through here. McMillan,
he's not far off.
Hot on his heels.
Oh!
Baz, very, very comfortable there, deceptively relaxed.
He was. I think he was saving a bit of energy for the final.
I don't know I think Bas would have been better off getting pushed here.
You think so?
I think Tohoto and Blenky, whichever one of those two makes it into the final.
They're ready to rumble.
Yeah, their eyeballs are on fire at the moment.
Yeah.
They're pushing so hard. Whereas Bas, he literally took his foot off the pedal halfway through. You watch him here and he's super intense. His daylight ahead of Dave McMillan.
And then Dave almost comes back a little bit on that last section of the course.
Baz is just, he's in third gear here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Dave McMillan watching that thinking, I dedicated my life to riding bikes and somehow you're still miles in front of me.
Yeah. But I don't know if he can trap a quarter like Dave, so it goes both ways.
Yeah, it's not all about straight line speed. Sometimes it's about what you can do.
Bas probably watches those Van Zak roars and just thinks, I wish I could smack a quarter like Dave can.
Okay, 2 fastest men of the day back in the start gate. Tohoro Rikipenny on the left-hand side of the screen, 31.394. Blenky on the right with a 31.563. Can Blenky find those 0.2 of a second and really push Tohoro now?
I'm going to
look like there's a crowd up here, but they are lining the course all the way down.
Just remember, Blenky's on that left-hand side, so he's got his work cut out for him.
Well, he's got to put a bike length on Tohoto, at least on the top of the course here down the first straight.
Oh, he's got a good start.
He's matching him neck and neck between the two Kiwis.
Oh,
Blenky nearly
runs
offline
wide
there. So much power and he was losing control.
He's probably never been so quick into that corner before.
Oh, and he's let it go now. He's pulling up and starting to style these jumps. He knows it's gone. So Tohoto backing off as Blenky styles out.
I can feel whether the other rider is there or not at the corner of their eye.
Yeah. Feel the force. Tohoto Rikipene takes out Sam Blenkinsop. Blenky, the overall Crankworx Summer Series champion, will be in the bronze medal matchup.
Blenky versus Dave McMillan. That is going to be two exciting riders to watch. But yeah, we can't, look past that final of Bas versus Tohoto.
That's going to be magic.
It's going to be
absolutely magic. Yeah, look at this. Blinky's in there.
It shows you how easy it is to make just a tiny, you know, fraction of a degree coming out of that second corner.
Yeah,
And
that's what it felt like.
He squared the third corner.
Yeah. And he knew from that moment on, he knew it was gone. It gives you, the fact that he did that gives you an indication of just how consistent he thinks Tohodo is on this course.
Yeah.
We haven't seen every other rider. We've seen, I think we saw it in one of the early rounds with Dave McMillan and Bradley Harris. We saw it where we ended up like both riders making a couple of mistakes. You never see Baz make a mistake. You never see Tohodo make a mistake.
It's so consistent and comfortable.
So there we have it. Baz versus Tohodo in the gold medal matchup. And then we have Dave McMillan going up against Sam Blenkinsop in the bronze medal round. Who are you going for predictions-wise in the men's?
I probably think Tohodo.
You reckon?
Yeah. Yeah, I just, you know, like you said, he's been against Blinky. They've been pushing each other. He's just running hot. Bass, he'll be fast, but it might take a little bit to warm into it.
My heart says Tohodo. My head says Baz.
Yeah.
I think Baz has got that. Again, I've done it with Caroline Buchanan as well. I err on the side of consistency and experience under pressure.
Yeah.
And I think Baz might just have that edge. And he's got a couple of kilojoules of energy left.
Yeah. That's a good point. The experience, yeah. Baz has experience, but Tohodo is just, he's got the power and he's so calm. You know, it feels like he's got the experience even if he is so young. Don't know why that is, but he's got a good temperament.
It'd be good to see him win at the end as well. It's going to be very, very close matchups in both the gold and bronze medals. If you've been watching the broadcast, we've been banging on about this all the way through. Wanaka has some, quite frankly, breathtaking views to share with everyone, especially up here at Bike Glendo. But if you want to check out a little more about what the place has to offer, check this out.
So today we went to Wild Wire in Wanaka. It was amazing. It's basically Via Ferrata New Zealand style. Of course, they added a waterfall in there. They just brought it in. No.
Climbing a waterfall is completely unnatural. You'd step outside your comfort zone and yeah, you accomplish something you've never done.
I've never done anything like this and it's awesome to do it. Obviously, right here in New Zealand, in my backyard, getting to do these new things in New Zealand is just amazing.
The environment in Wanaka is so raw and wild. There's native bush everywhere and there's water coming off of all the mountains everywhere because there's springs and glaciers and all kinds of features that are pretty amazing. And you can drive 15 minutes out of Wanaka and feel like you're really far in the backcountry.
Still on my mind, it's all on my
Glendo's been amazing. It's got the most incredible views and we have Lake Wanaka out there and all these islands everywhere. It's just beautiful.
So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to plant some trees because at Bike Glendo we're focused on regenerative tourism and we've got a big planting promise. We've got a goal to have 30,000 plants in the ground by 2025. And currently about 6,000. As part of the heli trip today, we can offset that carbon by putting some mountain beech in the ground, and we've got 3 lined up for you over here, so should we go do it?
It was so cool to have Caroline and Blinky up there. I've known them for so long and to do something like that with with your mates is unreal.
And breathe. Look at these views. You've got to give a big shout out to Charlie Cochran and John McRae, who founded Bike Glendo. It's just celebrating its 2nd anniversary now, and those guys put in so much work to getting this piece of land up and ready as one of the most impressive bike parks in New Zealand. Very, very impressive. So Keilani Hines and Jenna Hastings in the start gate. Before we go there, though, we can take a little look through this slideshow of the road trips so far. Taken in a good chunk of the South Island, all of central Otago, this region, and the Southern Lakes. Had the air downhill up at Cardrona. Incredible course, that one, Charlie.
It's so good. It's, yeah, like we said before, you know, it's on par with the best jump trails in the world. And just to be down here in the Southern Lakes, it's a classic summer destination for, you know, everyone in New Zealand. All the Aucklanders come down. So it's really cool to have these riders down here experiencing it and having a summer road trip.
Okay, Keilani Hines puts on her goggles nearest to the camera, all in red. Jenna Hastings just further away from the camera. These two faced off in the finals of dual slalom in Rotorua, and you can see all of that water on the course there.
It's polar opposites of the day, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at this course and you've got, as you said, you've got those grass corners which really favour the trail bikes, and then you had a couple of the BMX features as well.
And I feel like it was a bit slower, this course. And every feature was a bit steeper and more aggressive, and they couldn't carry as much speed, whereas here it's just so high speed.
Yeah, there were some real points that broke up that course, weren't there, and almost reset you, whereas this one, you come out of the start then, you can see the way a lot of the riders are on the back wheel. They're just, it's power start to finish.
It is. There's no places to slow down. You're just trying to get more and more speed the whole way down.
Okay, these two very evenly matched. Keilani Hines on the right-hand side of the screen, Jenna Hastings on the left.
They're off.
Very, very close. Elbow to elbow.
Manual versus the jump there. Jenna's in a very light gear, just her legs spinning.
Now into the straight. Both on full sus bikes, so not able to generate too much more power than each other.
Keilani's just got an advantage at the moment.
But is that going to get stolen through these last couple of turns?
Jenna's coming back.
Very, very sharp on the pump.
I think Jenna might have it. Whoa.
So Hastings takes the lead there. It's just over 0.3 of a second.
She didn't leave many corners until she made her move.
And Keilani Hines will know that she's potentially got a slightly faster run on the end there, but these times so close. Yeah, that's going to be a fascinating matchup in the second run now. Both neck and neck through the start here, and then just as they come into that first straight here, Jenna Hastings starts to get a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, it was cat and mouse a little bit down there, but yeah, like you said, I mean, Keilani's going to be on that faster side on the next round, so I'd say it's going to be very close bronze medal this race.
Last step on the podium will be at stake in their final matchup, and there's only 0.3 of a second to choose between them. Jenna Hastings with the upper hand for the moment. Now we have the men's bronze medal matchup. Dave McMillan, the turn detonator, versus Sam Blenkinsop, the downhill specialist / Renaissance man.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Oh, very quick start for Sam Blenkinsop.
Dave is working so hard to try and close that gap, but
there's nothing you can do.
No.
Look, like Sam Blenkinsop had like 80 kilowatts of power through the back wheel there. Going so quick. Dave McMillan, no tap down manual.
He's in touch yet. He's still in touch.
He needs to make the bottom of the course pay here. This is the crux for Dave McMillan.
Blinky
Big
just ripped
rooster,
there.
both men.
Oh, that's Blinky.
Though, powering through those two last turns. very, very strong ride from Blenky there.
That was impressive. But to see Dave, he was off the back foot off the start, and then he stayed within touch, or maybe even gained going down that second half of the course.
Yeah, magnetic front wheel, wasn't it? He managed to pull his way back into it. Like, so much intensity, there's so much going on, but little by little, he did reel in Blenky here. Full credit to Dave McMillan.
Look, he's pedaling. You see him pedaling in the air over that over that roller there.
Just everywhere. He's cranking the whole way, isn't he?
Oh, in that corner. Might be a quick rebuild on that corner, I think.
No doubt there's someone down there with a shovel and some concrete dust. So Dave McMillan, Sam Blenkinsop really enjoying that race. Big smiles from those boys as they battle it out for the third step on the podium. Right now, though, it is the women's gold medal matchup. Harriet Burbage-Smith, furthest away from the camera, going up against Caroline Buchanan of Australia.
Do you still got your money on Buchanan?
100%. Harriet Burbage-Smith, the faster of the two in qualifying, but so many times we've seen this. Caroline Buchanan just finds another gear when the pressure's on.
Yeah, I can't argue with you here. I'm going to hold my tongue and watch. But I think you might be onto something. The two Aussies are off. Caroline with a really good start there.
Up on the bars, pulling so hard out the start gate.
Every time on this first straight, she's just, textbook.
Oh, Harriet, though. Very, very strong cornering, and she's got the lead already. Let's not forget, Caroline's got to navigate those tight turns down at the bottom, but she's reeled her back in. As you said, the carrot was dangling through the end of the straight. Buchanan slightly offline there, though.
Harriet is
wide.
Just opening up a gap.
Harriet Burbage-Smith.
Look at that.
Devastating ride. And Caroline Buchanan has been put firmly in second place after the first run.
That was Harriet on the second half of the course. Did you hit the NOS button or something?
Absolutely flying. Look at that, fastest run of the day by a country mile. She's taken 0.6 of a second off it. 34.147.
And the second fastest time is also hers.
Oh my goodness. Take a bow, Harriet Burbage-Smith. Yeah, she literally, this is
Caroline.
Buchanan's a little way out in front.
Yeah.
And then Burbage-Smith is just like, now I'm having this.
So she had to make up even more. She was behind after the first straight, and then she had to come from behind and get that far in front in the rest of the course.
Harriet Burbage-Smith drops it down a cog, gives it a handful on the second half of the course, and it pays off. She is 100% in the driving seat going into the second run.
How's the predictions looking?
You know what? I'm going to stick with it. I've seen Buchanan in this position before.
Yeah, no.
She may have gassed herself slightly, but I think she's still got it. Okay, over to the men's side, and this is the matchup we've been waiting for all day. Number 1 and number 2 seed. They have been putting a second and a half into the rest of the field consistently. And now Tohoto Rikipene goes up against Bas van Steenbergen, two fastest men going toe to toe.
They finally come together. We've been waiting for this all day.
This is a gunslinger's dream. Two fastest men in the west of Wanaka right now going toe to toe. Who's going to take out the first run?
Oh,
better start for Baz.
That's pretty tight down the first straight there.
Very, very sharp, both of them. Tohoto offline. He's head on.
He's not giving up.
Quick.
Slight advantage to Bass, I think.
So the afterburners are on for Van Steenbergen. He's saved everything up. And now he's lording it over to Tohoto Rikipene. Pene's back.
It's so close.
They're coming back into these bottom turns. And Tohoto's just neck and neck. The front wheel's there. Nothing
Bass.
to choose. 2800ths. It goes to Van Steenbergen.
That was just, that was amazing.
What a race. What a race. This is the finale you want. 2 weeks of solid competition down here on the Summer Series, and it comes down to this. 2900ths of a second. Wow, take a breath. Baz with the best time of the day so far. He's taken another 28. So that was nearly, just doing the maths there, that was 2800ths of a second quicker than Tejodo's best time, which means Tejodo did exactly the same time that he'd done in the semi-finals against Blenky. And I think there were a couple of mistakes from Tejodo in there. He lost his line slightly.
Same corner that Blenky went wide on before, on that left-hand side. I think he went wide there as well.
Okay, all smiles from these two. Absolutely loving racing. In the words of Steve McQueen, when you're racing, you're living. Everything else is just waiting.
They're
And
definitely
these two-
living it up here in Wanaka. Look at the lake behind them.
Oh my goodness, these two living their best life.
There's
no
not much
two ways about it.
Not much time to stop and look at that view though, because it's just a pedal to the metal. Those two, it's so impressive to see.
Oh, it's such good racing. Absolutely vintage dual slalom up here at Bike Glendo. So back to the women's bronze medal matchup. And right now, Jenna Hastings has one hand on the third place position. Can she make it another podium? The next 35 seconds are going to tell us.
Oh, a bit of a front wheel lift from Kalani out of the gate there. You can hear the crowd just hyping up Jenna on the way down here.
They're fizzing for the Kiwi. Kilani back in it though.
It's hard not to bat for Jenna because it's such a cool story that the youngster from New Zealand.
Well, that was always the fairy tale of the Crankworx Summer Series here, was that it gives New Zealanders the chance to go up against their heroes.
And that's how you learn, throw yourself in the deep end.
Okay,
Take
Jenna
a
Hastings
swim.
into this last turn. Oh! So close. What? A tenth of a
Jenna
second,
gets
a hundredth of a second.
She gets
Yes,
the bronze
she's done
medal.
it. She manages to hold on to it. Jenna Hastings, yet another podium. That makes it 7 podiums from her last 8 events at Crankworx.
And I think it was a 4th, was it? The other result. So
yeah.
She's just consistent in every discipline and takes the overall here at the Summer Series.
Well, you might smile, Jenna Hastings. You have earned that victory. Phenomenal work rate from the young New Zealander here. She's taken on the best in the world at their favoured disciplines.
Well, yeah, she's a downhiller, really.
Yeah, and but she's not, because she's proved in pump track, in super downhill, in air downhill, in dual slalom that she can mix it up.
It's almost like, the Blinky.
Yeah, a Renaissance rider at 17 years old.
Yeah.
Huge smile from Jenna Hastings. We've seen that many, many times over the last month.
She's always having
very
fun.
Humble Kiwi taking 3rd position here at the Wanaka dual slalom. Fantastic way for her to crown out her overall victory on the Summer Series. Now, though, it's the men's bronze medal matchup. And this is another great battle. Sam Blenkinsop versus Dave McMillan. Can Dave pull it back in?
It's hard to look past Blinky, but it's going to be good.
Yeah, Blinky's got the power, it feels like. He's just got a couple of extra horsepower out the start gate.
Yeah. He's a fit bugger, Blinky. And he pedals everywhere,
Look
It's
at
got to
him.
be an advantage.
If you want to learn how to ride pump track or dual slalom, that is how you do it. Oh, well, yeah, not pump track, you're not allowed to pedal, but Blinky just cranking everywhere.
He's definitely got a good lead there, but it's not over till the fat lady swings here.
Right, she's in the dressing room warming up for Blinky.
Oh, look, this is one of his best runs yet, I reckon.
Oh, Dave McMillan enjoying the corners. Blinky maybe slightly off the gas there. 31.692, yes. I think you're right. Called it, Charlie.
Is that his fastest time?
Yeah. So I think it was 31.7.
Yeah.
But on maybe 31.4. Sam Blenkinsop, though, takes 3rd place. Dave McMillan.
That's another podium for Blinky.
Yes, yet another one.
And
4 podiums from 5
I know.
events. And
2/3 and a second and a first.
We knew it before, but it is confirmation with that 3rd place. He has absolutely dominated the Summer Series overall standings. Will take the title.
And a bit of cash for the next family holiday, I bet. Blinky, well done. It was so impressive. How are the legs feeling? You tired?
Fresh as, man. Fresh, ready to go. We came for a trail ride after this, Charlie. Let's go.
Yeah. We'll go for a little spin, I reckon.
It looked like you were on the crank. You were cranking through the entire first half of that course.
Yeah, well, I thought it's off season now, so I'm not going to touch any bikes for a few weeks now, or maybe a month. So I thought I'd maybe do enough pedals for the rest of that time. So yeah, I'm done now.
And quick one before they come in for the finals. Who are your predictions? Men's and women's.
Toru. My money's on that man. He's the boy, eh? I love that fella.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing if that comes true.
I hope so too, yeah.
You can't hear me?
I'm in Tahuto's corner.
You can't hear me? Oh, you can hear me?
No, I got you loud and clear. Well done, Blicky. That was really impressive riding.
No, good to see you, Charlie.
Cheers, Blanky. Thank you very much. Okay, so Sam Blenkinsop takes the Crankworx Summer Series overall and third place at the dual slalom to crown it. So fantastic performance from him, and he's enjoyed that incredible road trip. We saw footage of him out at Wildwire earlier on. Right now, though, it is the deciding matchup for the women's gold medal positions. Harriet Burbage-Smith shaking her hands out. Let's take a look back at the highlights of the first run.
Harriet really impressed me in the second half of this run. I was expecting it to be much closer, but she just opened up this gap.
Yeah, from the moment you see Buchanan getting out in front, you think it's a done deal, don't you? She just doesn't let people back into the race, and yet Harriet Burbage-Smith does exactly that.
But I think we haven't seen someone as strong as Harriet up against Caroline, today.
Yeah. Maybe there was a tiny mistake up there, but she left a little bit of daylight there, and Burbage-Smith gets the crowbar in and just levers her way back into this. And it's not by a small margin. There is a lot of work for Caroline Buchanan to do now, but Buchanan's on the faster right-hand side of the course.
She's got a slight advantage, but I don't think that's enough, without a really, really impressive run from Caroline. We know she's got the first straight perfect, but she's got to keep up that first straight speed down the whole course.
Okay, so Harriet Burbage-Smith, 25, Caroline Buchanan, 31, but don't let the age fool you. She is so strong, so powerful. Harriet Burbage-Smith on the right-hand side of the screen, Buchanan on the left. Both of them white-knuckling those grips right now. So 1.373 seconds for Buchanan to make up. Is it too much to ask?
It's not going to be easy, but pretty even. Caroline again showing us how strong she is on this first straight.
So daylight ahead of Harriet Burbage-Smith, but Burbage-Smith back into it again. They come through this S into the long straightaway here, and this is where Harriet really started to put the distance down. Buchanan.
I'm really interested to see how the second half pays out.
Couple of bike lengths ahead. This is going to be very, very close.
Oh, Schraub in that corner.
Back into it though.
Dead even.
And Harriet Burbage-Smith reduces that deficit, and with it, she may have lost that second run, but she has claimed the overall. Caroline Buchanan takes silver. Harriet Burbage-Smith takes gold. Very, very impressive riding from Haz.
After seeing that first run, we knew Caroline had a work cut out for her. To be fair, she gave a valiant effort at that run there. But it wasn't quite enough.
Both times, Harriet Burbage-Smith came into her own in that second half of the course.
Yeah. I think that first straight in the gate start is Caroline's strength.
100%. You think about it, it's only 35 seconds, but it's 411 meters of track.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dirt to cover, and potentially that longer distance is where Harriet really finding her strength.
Yeah, we saw that in that first run. And
okay, we've got Harriet down in the finish area there. Congratulations, Harriet. 2 races, phenomenally strong, both times in the second half of that course.
Yeah, it was really good. Kind of tried to chill out more in this finals run. The quarters were fine, this was semis. I was trying a little bit too hard and making a lot of mistakes, so I tried to chill out a little bit.
Awesome. I noticed on that last run there, you had a big shroud on some of those corners. Are they getting broken up and loose at all, or they still got lots of grip?
Yeah, I think it's just drying out a little bit, and where I think the hardtails, like the low suspension bikes, are working really well, but they are getting a bit loose. So I'm glad that was the last run.
Yeah. That was such an impressive final from you. It was just, yeah, looking so strong through the course there. Well done.
And Harriet, just quickly, who's your prediction for the men's final?
Tohodo. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anyone all day, unfortunately, so I've missed all the good racing, but I'll say Tohodo. So.
Hey, it's paid off for you. It worked. All of that focus on your own race has given you the victory today. So congratulations.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
So your winner there, Harriet Burbidge-Smith, bested fellow countrywoman Cassie Voisty in the quarterfinals, then took on the woman of the moment, Jenna Hastings, in the semis and made short work of the New Zealander. And then she's taken on one of the most experienced women, not just in mountain biking or BMX, but in the world of cycle racing, you've got to say, in Caroline Buchanan. So a very, very well-deserved victory for Harriet Burbidge-Smith. Back up at the top, though, and we have a fantastic prospect of the second and final runs in the men's gold medal final. Bas van Steenbergen in the riders' left-hand lane going up against Tohodo Pene in the riders' right-hand lane. This is what happened in run one.
It's just, these two they're on another level, like we've been saying all day, and to see them, you know, who's going to push each other to improve their performance. And we saw Bass with just a slight advantage, but I'm not counting out either of these two men.
Well, to be able to race with this consistency at this speed when you're elbow to elbow is just phenomenal.
And no mistakes all day, like you said. You've got to be that focused and, you know, have the perfect angles and lines all day is, you know, that's something in itself.
I mean, yeah, you could say Bass is almost like a mountain biking robot in that respect. He's so consistent. He's able to do exactly the same thing again and again and again without making a single mistake. It's breathtaking what he's done today. But Tohodo, so crisp and so fast through those features.
It's just got the textbook style. Like, if someone asked me, you know, how to ride dual slalom, I'd say, you know, go on Tohodo. It's perfect. He's not wasting any energy. The power's all going to forwards.
28 hundredths of a second between them. Or is that
They're
thousands?
off!
I can never tell, it's thousands.
The final run for the gold medal.
Mistake offline! After everything we just did, he makes a mistake on the opening straight.
He almost runs into Tohodo.
Is that going to crack the veneer? Or can he fight his way back into this? Tohodo with a little bit of daylight now.
Tohodo's just in front. Bass is not giving up.
He's on the cranks as they come in. Tohodo flying long through there, and he's got 3 bike lanes.
This looks like this Tohodo.
After
he takes it.
Chat, after everything we said about Bass,
and he does the gold medal.
Consistent. He makes that devastating mistake at the top there and hands it to Tohodo.
It looks like he was pedaling a bit too hard almost. He's got a little bit washy and offline.
Yeah, it's so much well, he was
on
looking
first
for
straight.
that traction on the back wheel, riding high. Blenky, big smiles. His
protege.
Blenky's prediction has come true. Harriet Burbidge-Smith's predictions come true. Tohodo Pene takes the win here at the final event of the Crankworx Summer Series. There it was. His shoulders and his hips just twisting. He was lucky to hold on to it.
I was worried he might run into Tohodo. Full contact.
Tohodo, you could see how close he is to the ground.
But he just extended down the second half. I guess Bass is on that slower left-hand side.
Tohodo's down in the finish area. Good to see you, Tohodo. Fantastic racing today. You must have known how tight that one was going to be.
Yeah, of course. We were both sitting up top, talking about how tired we both were. And we knew it was going to be close, and yeah, it's all good. It was fun.
Nice work, Tohodo. So you came into that final run just on the back foot there. How did you stay calm and, not fold under the pressure? You've obviously been racing the World Cup downhill overseas. Does that help you deal with the pressure and the nerves?
The pressure and nerves comes from back in the day in the BMX. Everyone was watching on the track. There was 8 people, and that's where I've learned how to deal with the pressure. But no, it's all good. It was tight, and all came down to whoever pushed it enough on that last run. So lucky enough, I got everything smooth, and pushed it right to the end. And I'm tired now, but all good.
Did you see Bass make that mistake on the opening straight?
Nah, bro, I was looking forward. I wasn't looking at him, I was looking forward, so I don't know. I thought I'd see him come past me, but I knew something was happening. So I was just going fast, or I don't know.
Such solid riding. You're just looking, textbook all day. So well done, mate. Congratulations.
Tohono, we'll let you
Thank
get
you,
some
bro.
oxygen back into your lungs. And congratulations, a
Yo.
fantastic way to finish the summer series.
Cheers, brother. Thank you.
So Tohono Rikipene there, the first place winner of the Wanaka dual slalom here at Bike Glendo.
Oh, it does not get much better than that, Ed.
That was truly brilliant. I love commentating with you, Charlie. Like those are a couple of the best days racing I've had, I think. The dual slalom in Rotorua, where we had horrific conditions, torrential downpours, which just made for some of the most dramatic racing. And then here today, we had enough rain yesterday just to make the dirt really tacky today, and perfect conditions for some really stellar toe-to-toe, kind of street fighter racing.
It was just absolutely hero dirt, and you could see the riders just leaning into those corners. It was so fast, and because it was so fast, the times were tight, the racing was tight. And I think instead of having the weather making it exciting, we had everything being so close and high speed made today just unreal.
And I think you said it a couple of times. If you're watching, you're thinking about getting into any kind of dual slalom, the course here actually is open anytime you come and ride Bike Glendo. And that's the same in so many places around the country and around the world now. You'll find a dual slalom course. So you go and watch some of these guys race and you'll be able to see that, well, you know exactly what you've got to do. You keep it long, low, and you crank as hard as you can through every single feature. That was vintage dual slalom for me.
That's as good as it gets. And I think dual slalom is such a cool event because it's it's just like this perfect combination, of the pump track BMX stuff and the downhill trail bike enduro stuff. And it just fits together so perfectly. And you got this head-to-head racing. I just love it.
Okay, we can take a look back now at the graphics of the women's overall from the Crankworx Summer Series. And we started this, we knew it was tight at the beginning, and we announced it during the show, but Jenna Hastings taking the win just ahead of Louise-Anna Ferguson. She wasn't able to make it out of the quarterfinals, and that's what cost her. But a big jump up there, Charlie, from Harriet Burbage-Smith, not far off the pace in third.
From fifth up to third, and that was, that win there. Jenna was third, but she had a clear amount of points over Vaya and Casey, so just leapfrogged them right into that third spot.
We've talked about it through all of the Summer Series broadcasts, the fact that this is meant to be the best riders in the world going up against New Zealanders, so that effectively the local riders can meet their heroes and test themselves. You look at Jenna Hastings taking out the Crankworx Summer Series, and she's done that ahead of Casey Brown, Kilani Hines, Harriet Burbage. The names she's beaten to take that overall title are huge. But then in the men's here, it's lovely to see a legend like Blenky taking the win out.
It's really cool. I think he's loving the Crankworx disciplines. And like you said, he did 2018, the King of Crankworx in the downhill. But now we see him take another overall, and he's in all disciplines.
And do you think that's just the story of a World Cup downhill racer amassing such a broad skill set on the bike that actually when you reach Blenky's age, you can do anything? You can apply that skill set to any terrain.
It's the hours on the bike. He's just, and for his downhill, I know that he's been doing BMX, he's been doing pump tracks, dirt jumps, all sorts of different things to help his downhill over the years. And now that's just, you can see it on display. It's incredible.
It's certainly paid off. You can see Casey Brown having a laugh there with Harriet Burbage-Smith. Those two really enjoying themselves, and that is the view out from Jack's spot at Bike Glendo. This is what Crankworx 2022 looks like. It is an impressive series that will be back. So you can head over to the Crankworx website where you'll get more information on exactly where we're going and when we're going there in 2022. As always, we plan to be back in Whistler, I know, in August, but back in Europe, no doubt, and also back in New Zealand. And as always, it promises to be just as much drama, Charlie.
I hope we have a few rainstorms during the events just to keep everything interesting. But the racing, the level is just getting so much higher, and the women's field today was like, and the women's field for summer series has just been so tight, so competitive. I'm loving it. It's awesome.
Yeah, as always. We wrap up now, though. This is goodbye from the Crankworx Summer Series. Before we go, we've got to say a massive thank you to all of the locations that have hosted us over the last 2 weeks. The Matangi Station in Alexandria, Queenstown have put on 2 events, the pump track and the downhill. Skyline was spectacular. And then, of course, we had the air downhill in Cardrona, one of the lift access areas. And then we finish up here at Bike Glendo in Wanaka. It's been absolutely breathtaking. I know the riders have enjoyed it so much. The road trips and the activities around the events have been just as entertaining as the events themselves. Charlie Murray, thank you for joining me in the booth.
Thanks for having me along. It's been another exciting day of racing, and yeah, it's cool to be in the bus up here in Wanaka.
Thank you for bringing it up. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the racing as much as we have. From us up here at Bike Glendo, thank you. We'll see you next year.